pleasant morning to each and everyone. My name is Wazna Kayusman. So, our topic for today is all about approaches in teaching literature. So, before we start in approaching and teaching literature, let us understand first what is approach. So, when we say approach, an approach is a way of looking at teaching, learning, and the way of dealing on something. An approach gives rise to methods, the way of teaching something which use classroom activities or techniques to help learners learn. We talk about approaches in teaching literature. Let us have first an idea that teaching of literature is geared toward enhancement of student language proficiency along with the information static value of English language in general and over the past years. So, whenever we are teaching literature, we have to remember our teachers. My dear future educator, that our ultimate goal must be enhancing. It's the enhancement of student language proficiency together with the informational static value of English language. Let's proceed in teaching approaches. So, when we say teaching approaches, it provides a model, the operation to be used in presenting to the content that leads to the development of dealing skills. In this case, it is the teaching of literature that ensures stimulation of students' interest in their development of language proficiency. So now, let's proceed on 6 approaches of teaching literature. The first one is information-based approach. Information-based approach gives knowledge and information to students. It is teacher-centered and demands a lot of teachers' input in giving students various contents of literary texts like on historical, political, cultural, and social background. Informational based approach is a teacher centered because a lot of teachers input giving student a various contents, especially the teacher is the primary source of information, delivering lectures, explanation, and notes. It also gives knowledge and information to students. It elicits information from students about the text. It also explains the content of the text to the class. It asks questions to check students' knowledge based on what they have read. Provides students with background information. So in information-based approach activities, it includes comprehension question exercise, attended lecture sessions, read notes from workbooks and handouts. That is information-based approach. The second one is paraphrastic approach. So, paraphrastic approach is a primarily paraphrasing and rewording the text to a simpler language or use other language to translate it. In literature, is translated to its simple term. It's paraphrase. It is also suitable to beginners. It's because this approach is particularly useful for students who are new to a language or literature in general. Paraphrastic approach is reword the story in simpler language. It's retell the text to students to help them understand. It's also use simple term to explain what the story is about. It's also discuss what the author says and the text get the student to tell the storyline on the text. For example, in Shakespearean praise, be but sorn my love, and I will no longer be a Capulet. So in paraphrastic approach, they say, just promise to me and I leave my family. In paraphrastic approach, in short, paraphrastic approach use a simple text, simple word to understand the student and to explain in simpler term what the author says. That is paraphrastic approach. Another example. The inclement weather necessitated postponement of the outdoor event. So that is deep, so deep sentence. So when we use paraphrastic approach, uh, it say it says because the weather was bad, the outdoor event had to put off. That is paraphrastic approach. It's paraphrase the word into a simpler text, or it's a simpler word to understand what the author says, or it use a simple term to explain what the story is about. That is paraphrastic approach. The third one is stylistic approach. Stylistic approach implies literary critics and linguistics analysis. It is for students to appreciate and understand in a deeper manner of the literary text. It helps students to interpret the text meaningfully and develop language awareness and knowledge. So, stylistic approach discuss beyond the surface meaning. Uh, to guide student use to interpret text by examining the author's language and discussing meaning beyond and surface. It's also close understanding appreciation of literary text. It's combination of linguistic analysis and literary critics. It focuses on analyzing the language and linguistics feature of a text to understand its meaning and aesthetic value. So the stylistic approach activities, we need to use identify linguistic features. Example, vocabulary like tenses. Then discuss different meaning of a text. Extract example from a text that describe a setting. It's also identify adjective that describe a character, combination of literary analysis and literary critics. That is stylistic approach. In short, it is analyzing literary critics and linguistic analysis. The fourth one is a language-based approach. Language-based approach helps students pay attention to the way the language is used when studying literature. It is student-centered and activity-based for productive use of language. It improves student language proficiency and incorporates literature and language skills among the students. So, a language-based approach incorporates language and literature syllabus. It's also developed across all four areas like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. It's student centered because it focuses on student needs and interests. In language-based approach, include in language-based approach activities, it includes group work, different language activities like cloze test, jigsaw puzzle, prediction exercises, debate, and other performance activities like drama, role play, and poetry recital. So, in short, language-based approach is incorporate literature and language skills among the students. It has also incorporated language and literature syllabus. Student-centered because it focuses the student needs and interests. That is language-based approach. The fifth one is personal response approach. Personal response approach encourages students to make sense of their experiences and personal life with tech themes. It also promotes students to associate the subject matters of the reading with text with personal lives and experiences. Um, Personal response approach encourages learners' active involvement emotionally and intellectually. It draws own experiences, feelings, opinion, also known as thematic approach. It also expressing your individual thoughts, feelings, and reaction to text, image, or other stimulus. It's about connecting the material to your own experience and perspective. In personal response approach activity, we need to include journal writing, brainstorming, and small group discussion. Write about their feelings and reaction. That is personal response approach. In short, it encourages learners' involvement emotionally and intellectually. It also draw on experiences, feelings, opinion, also known as thematic approach. That is personal response approach. The last one is a moral philosophical approach. A moral philosophical approach, learners seek moral values from a particular literary text while reading it. It helps students to be aware of values of moral and philosophical and identify them that lies in their reading. When we say moral philosophical approach, it's the teacher incorporates moral values in lesson. It's read a particularly literary text, search for moral values, awareness of values, assist student to understand themes in future readings. It's a type of literary criticism that believes literature should instruct morality. In moral philosophical approach activities, we need to include reflective sessions, discussion on moral dilemmas, tell moral values, and conduct self-evaluation activities. In short, moral philosophical approach is awareness of values, search for moral values, and assist students to understand themes in future reading. That is moral philosophical approach. If you have any question, clarification, violent reaction, you can direct message me or you can comment after this video. Again, that is the 6 approaches to teaching literature. Once again, thank you.